Welcome to Buckets, coming to you from the Tommy John home studios, where we are celebrating a good night of betting. If you're a Knicks fan and you're joining us, I'm very sorry. Your team did beat the Celtics, and you should hold on to that forever. And that is a very good moment, and you had a good season because you made the conference finals. The Indiana Pacers win 125-108. Pacers first quarter does not cash. Pacers first half cashes. Pacers full game money line cashes. Pacers minus 3.5 cashes. Pacers minus 4 cashes. Pacers minus 6.5 cashes. Pacers minus 9.5 cashes. Pacers minus 12.5 cashes. The over cashes. It's a good night.
Runs and turnovers cashes.
Good night, man. We were so close on the freaking parlays that we had too. Oh,
Carl Anthony Towns. One more point.
Really? And he missed like 4 free throws. I wasn't following it that closely, but he missed like so many free throws. Either way,
I would have been up. I would have been up about 15 units tonight had he gotten that one extra point. But still, a phenomenal evening for yours truly and for the entire podcast. So this is such a different vibe than I've only done a couple of these post game shows. With the last one, I was in dire straits, and this is. Wow. I mean, somebody popped the champagne. Uncork it. Let's go.
It's true. Shout out to Brian Fonseca, who on our pregame or on our best bets on Friday, he swept tonight 5-0. Halliburton over 30.5 points and assists. Pacers minus 9.5. Pacers first half. Pacers, he got the minus 0.5 first quarter. And he got OG Anunoby over 1.5 steal as well. Good night. Pacers minus 1.5 for my series bet. Cashes, missed on the 2.5. Brandon Anderson, Pacers in 6 exactly. Cashes. Our Eastern Conference cap was very good. We found value on the Pacers. We bet them, and now we will turn our attention to the NBA Finals. I'm going to do some programming notes so that you guys know what's coming up. Bruce Slayton did, in fact, say Halliburton over 1.5 steal and Siakam over on points. He did, in fact, say that. Siakam wins Eastern Conference Finals MVP, which I'm not going to lie, hurts me a little bit. So, should have been Halliburton. Michael Fiddle, generational. You've joined the ranks of the generational haters at Buckets, Michael Fiddle.
I was on the Pacers today, so I'm cashing tickets too.
So, programming notes. No show on Sunday night, no future Jays. We will do a show on Monday. That is me and Brandon Anderson's series preview for the NBA Finals. We will do a Best Bets series props on Tuesday night. That will do, it will be Brandon Anderson, Joe Dolera, Jim Turvey, future Jays plus Branderson, doing series props after Brandon's 50-1. We'll see what he follows up with. We will then do best bets for game 1, and we'll do a compilation series bets from the Buckets contributors of everybody, where they're at for the finals, what their best bets are, etc. We'll do all of that before Thursday's game 1. We will do pregame on Thursday at 6:30, and we'll do postgame on Thursday after the game. That's your Buckets update for the week. We are taking Sunday off to get some rest before the finals begin. Market was up before the series wrapped, and it looks a little bit. So this is interesting, Fiddle. So 750 was the advanced look. There's a 650 now at DK. So either they moved that down based off of the Pacers actually advancing, which they've done before. They took enough handle on Indiana during the conference finals to move that down, or a flux of it's already moved that number down because of the advanced look on the number. So series is down to minus 650. There is another market number that's 750 with a plus 530 on the Pacers. Game 1, minus 9. As far as I can tell, it's painted minus 9. And minus 405 on the Thunder money line. Total 230.5. There's a 229.5 in the market as well. Give me a market read on what you're seeing early off of these moves.
So I think for the series price, it's actually just probably a power rating adjustment up on the Pacers right now. We saw after game 5 of Thunder Wolves, when they closed that series out, we saw a huge shift in the odds, and the way that the futures market had been priced for game 5 and 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals, when Knicks started a little comeback and then Pacers closed it out, the numbers were shaded with like theoretical matchups between Thunder and Pacers. There was no theoretical Knicks Thunder matchup, but there also was just straight futures with all three teams. And if you just compare and contrast those numbers, it actually said that the Knicks were going to be better rated against the Thunder, to which I think we all disagreed with that at this point. And so I think this kind of seismic win, this kind of statement win, is kind of just balancing out the overreaction of the statement win of the Thunder in game 5. So it's nice that I thought we were going to be looking at the 750-ish because that's what the pricing told us. I think this strong of a game just says a slight power ranking adjustment up on the Pacers. And then in game 1, that line 9 has really been there the whole time. I don't have it that high personally. I personally like just early sides. I haven't bet anything side yet, would lean Pacers +9, but I also do like the over as well. We'll get into all of that.
Yeah, I'm not going to rush out to bet this one. I need to do a lot of film on it, which I didn't want to do until we got through this Knicks. I never like being like, I'm going to start the advance work, because when you do that and then the other team comes back to win, you're like, what? I just wasted like 3 days doing film on a series I'm not going to do at all. I will give you my numbers on this series just as a comparison price point. The reason that I think this stuff is good is that it gives us actual quantitative numbers, because what you're going to find a lot of is like, doesn't that feel high? And that's why I actually built out a system to be like, no. Like, what do I actually make it based off of power rating? Where do I have it? I make this -514. No juice, -514 plus 514. No hold rather. So I'm 35 cents on the market, 25 cents on the market actually. And I will have to think about whether or not that is enough. Like, I bet Thunder to beat Pacers when that was the number that was in the market, because I knew that the Pacers are not new. I like the Pacers more than the market did. And so if I like them, I was going to like Thunder. And I liked it way more as the finals outcome. So we talked about it on buckets. I kept saying I'm betting Thunder over Pacers again. So I have a big position there, which allows me now to bet a little bit on Pacers because I think there's value. I've got 25 cents of value. I'll probably bet a Pacers straight up ticket. I can't get to anywhere on any of the exacts at pretty much anywhere. Everything is badly priced, or not badly priced, is too sharp to me right now as far as exact outcome, series spread. I will probably come down on a side or two with Brandon where I'm like, okay, I like this outcome over on games, whatever it is, under on games maybe. OKC's going to win this series. I feel pretty confident in that. If the Pacers do, it'd be an amazing story. But the Thunder are going to win the series. And the question is how many games. That's my read on it.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I just think it's important to note that you're saying that you're going to take Pacers because of the value and not as a hedge, right? You're not saying I'm only doing this because I locked in such good value with Pacers, Thunder over Pacers in finals and exactas and whatnot. You're saying, no, it's still 25 cents of value according to my number. So I kind of have to, right? Those are the situations in which I say, obviously you can't middle a finals winner, but this is the right place to do it. And even if you can't middle it, grabbing things at two different sides and great value is the way to do it.
The market was behind where I had Thunder over Pacers, and now it's ahead on
because we got here and you were paying into theoretical if that matchup happens.
Yes. And now the value's on the other side. Brandon, I'm not gonna. I will make on this episode with Branderson. I will make the argument for the Pacers. I have things in this matchup I'm gonna like. They don't turn the ball over. That's a really great fucking place to start versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. Their offense has the best EFG. You know what a really good way to counter a good defense is? Just make a bunch of shots. It's a really good counter to all that. This is not like a one-sided. They are not I think the Pacers are. Weight class is tough. I don't know if they're in their weight class, but I do think that they can. There are series scripts I can get to versus if it was the Knicks, I was going to be like, there's no script here. There's no way. I was going to be hitting Thunder in 4. There's a better script, I think, for the Pacers with the way they match up. but the gap between the two teams is so wide. The margin for error for OKC is so wide. It's going to be difficult to get me. Like, this is what's annoying about the number is like -9 is a big number. And I'm like, yeah, but like the Thunder is so much better. So I'm going to have to really kind of figure out what I want to do here. But my basketball lean is very much Thunder.
So when I first look at this series, I think the Pacers actually pose an interesting challenge for the Oklahoma City Thunder. I'm not at the point where I'm saying that I even think that Indiana is going to win 2 games in this series. I do think they can cover some numbers, though. And my instinct tells me game 1 is a Pacers side. They have played so well at the outset of these series because their style, especially in the playoffs, where I think teams expect this tight, grind-it-out feel, and the Pacers play wild and free. And they get out and run, and they're so good at those run-outs and killing you in transition. Oklahoma City is going to be way more disciplined by a country mile than what the New York Knicks were. But I still think it takes you by surprise a little bit. And that's why we've seen them get out to these great starts in these series. So I feel like out of the gate, Pacers +9 in game 1 is a good look. As far as the series goes, even though it is heavily juiced, not as much as the actual series price, Thunder -265 at -1.5 in terms of the series spread, to me is still a good bet. We have seen 2 NBA finals in the last 12 years go to a 7th game. Both of them involved LeBron James and an all-time great team. One was the Spurs, one was the Golden State Warriors with all-time great coaches in Steve Kerr and Greg Popovich. That's not happening in this series. So I feel pretty comfortable laying the wood with the Thunder -1.5 in the series, but I will probably end up on the Pacers in game 1.
I argued about this with Branderson. I think it's an interesting question because he was like, well, you can't do that because that's not how the math works. And I agree. Fiddle, help me with this. I think that you can take as a preset. It's not like baked into any sort of math or the power rating or anything else. But from a basketball cap standpoint, the Thunder are going to win 2 games at home by more than 15 points. That is what they have done in every round. They are going to blow out their opponent twice at home. So like 2 of those games are going to be blowouts. So like this comes down to a 5-game series with the Pacers needing to win 4 of 5 to win it outright. But even if we're just talking about series spread, I'm like, can you get 2 out of the 5? Like, can you get 2 out of 5? Can you get 3 out of 5? Like that to me is really the question. I just don't know, especially how to model that or how to approach that from a cap standpoint to figure out where I'm kind of going there. I guess I should just start off with like assuming the 2 wins at home by 25 plus or by 15 plus, and then go from there. Like, I don't know what to do with that information. I'm not smart enough to do that, but it is like, that is where I come down is I think that they will win at least 2 games at home by more than 15 points.
Yeah, I just think it puts you in a little bit of a tricky position, right? Because you said there's some value on Pacers side, but if you feel that way, then then really you should be slamming Oklahoma. Like if you feel they're going to win 2 of these games by 15 points, it's not how do I find the ways for Indiana to trickle in? It's like I'm all over OKC, right? So that's the way I would do it. I would be playing ATS. I would be playing series. I would be, again, like if you think you could try and find a way to essentially middle it with Pacers series spread instead of outright winner. Like you said, you had the plus 550. If you could try and finagle that to getting them plus 1.5, that still works out well against your other numbers, or plus 2.5, that still works out well. Then that's kind of the option. But based on what you're saying, it's kind of like, which side do you want to sink your teeth into, OKC or Indy? Because again, like this market is super sharp. We're starting to see like a little bit of movement, but it's just more consensus forming than I would say like indicative action.
That -1.5 in the series, by the way, has already moved 15 cents. It's -280 now.
Yeah, that tracks.
I'm not saying that we moved the line, by the way. Let's just be clear about that.
No. So look, if I give this is what I just got to do is if I think that they're going to win 2 of these games by 15 or more, then I don't even need to worry about which games it is. I can start by I can give them the first 2 games at home as them winning, and then that radically changes my number for them minus 1.5, because then I make it minus 591, and now the 280 is fine. So I think that's probably where I'm going to end up. So I thank you for like making me do that. That's probably where I got to go, because it's just like that's such an obvious part of this cap. Like, do I think that the Pacers are going to be able to? Do I think the Pacers are going to avoid a blowout twice? Not just like win on the road, but like avoid a blowout. I think they can win game 1 because they've been really great in game 1s, and OKC has been hearing for 2 weeks about how fucking amazing they are. And I don't think I never get involved in the rest versus rust thing. I'll start that right now. Like it's like the Pacers are still off from Sunday through Wednesday. They have 4 days off where they're not playing games. First time in 2 months that's happened. Now on top of it, it's like that's the most post ergo propter hoc thing imaginable. It's if the team with rust loses, they just weren't sharp. There's just that long layoff. If the team wins, that extra rest did them good. And like every time I'm just like tearing my eyes out, being like, that's not how this works.
Let's make a promise not to do that. By the way,
I will
after
not allow
game 1,
anybody to. We can make a bet on who's going to. I would bet Brian Fonseca like minus 150 is going to bring up rest versus rust.
That's a sharp
Sean
one.
It's always a hindsight thing. It's like I get so annoyed at that one, because I'm like, it's always judged in hindsight. It's always to explain what happened. It's always we're going to talk about it after game 1 and then say that's what happened. It's just like, no, maybe one team made shots and the other team missed shots to make or miss league.
Well, and that's the difference between formats like this and formats like, the 4-letter network and all the.
And we also
we're in the predictive business,
In capping, you essentially use in NBA capping like 4 days as max rest, right? Like 4 days would then neutralize any rest advantage of having 5 or 6 days. So I just don't think that's I don't think that becomes much of an advantage. Maybe you could say game planning angles are better for the Thunder for more time to prep, because they've probably been prepping since Indy was up 3-1 or up 2-0 or whatever. But I think those are all neutralized.
Yes. Total games right now, 5.5 is the only number that I see at one book. That's under is minus 135. So obviously, if you're going to go that route, like I don't know how you're going to get the Thunder or Pacers in 5. I don't know how you're going to do that. Again, I want to be clear here on the basketball front. I just said they're going to lose, but that's more about like how the Thunder are across the course of a series. Like they might win game 5 by 20 plus, and they might win game 7 by 20 plus. And so that changes the outcomes here dramatically. But also, like if they win game 2 by 20 plus and game 5 by 20 plus, that puts me in a pretty good position for them in 5 too.
It's also worth noting the regular season for what it's worth. These two teams met twice, obviously.
Yep.
The Thunder won both of them. When it was in OKC, it was a 21-point win for the Thunder. Both teams in both games were relatively healthy. A 6-point win for the Thunder in Indiana the day after Christmas.
Just for a number right off the top, teams on the road in the finals that are greater than a top 3 seed. Top 3 seeds are who wins the NBA finals. That's who I talk about this all the time. You got to be a 40-20 team, Oklahoma City. You got to be a top 3 seed, Oklahoma City. If you're not a top 3 seed and you are in the finals on the road, 3-15 straight up in game 1. That is now. I think Indy's best chance is this. Like I could see them doing it. I could see a Nugget script for them. Steal game 1. You get there will not be a number high enough. I will not bet the Thunder in game 2 if that happens. Pacers take game 3. That David Martell says it here. The value will be on the Pacers at home in game 3 or game 4. They'll probably be like plus 160 or longer. I agree. I think that's going to be like, that's a very good script for the Pacers is you take 1, you take 3, you go back to Oklahoma City 2-2. And it's like, okay, you gave him back home court, but now all you got to do is you got to steal 1 of 2 games in OKC for a team that has been so good on the road. And that's a script. That's a script that the Pacers can win. From an X's and O's standpoint, the Thunder will not blitz Halliburton. This is just going to be straight up like, you're going to have to beat us. Like, you're just going to have to beat us. And he can, but it's going to take it's obviously going to take his best games. He's going to have to be a scorer in the series because he's going to have to take the floater to force them to send more help. So that's an early look there. They won't get annihilated on the glass as badly. Even with Hartenstein and Chet, like, they're still not a dominant offensive rebound team. They'll be better than the Pacers are because the Pacers are not great at it. But it won't be this Knicks series where they have to deal with Mitch Robinson and Hart and Cat, who's honestly great on the glass. Not that bad. And then like the Thunder will leave them open from 3, and they'll make them or they'll miss them. Jim Turvey, I will tell you right now, Jim Turvey is going to be on Pacers. He thinks the Pacers are underrated by the market. He legitimately thinks the Pacers can beat this Thunder team. He genuinely thinks that. I don't know that the rest of us do. I don't know that anybody else on Bucket's side. If they do, we'll find out. But really interesting on some of these. So the total is going up, Fiddle. So for game 1. That's going to be a spot where, hey, if you like the over in game 1, you better get on it. How much do we think this moves?
Yeah. So when this opened, there was a 229 and a 229 and a half and 231 and a half. And so the first movement that we saw is just anyone who wants the under is going to go take the one 2 points higher. Anyone who wants the over is going to go take the one 2 points lower, right? So there's that first wave of action that just brought them closer to each other. And then more books started to come online, and it opens at 230 and a half pretty much everywhere else. And now we're seeing those 230 and a half start to climb back up. We're even seeing the one book that came down with that too high of a number originally start to move back up again. And the one that opened too low also moving up. So if you just look at the general market, where are these books? Where's the movement been? When has it been? What are the other lines relative to it all? It's definitely a game 1 over spot, which makes a lot of sense. Game 1s are generally one of the highest scoring games in any series because you get the fresh matchups, you get fresh legs, and then you start to bring in the adjustments, and defensive assignments are known. You know where to shade your player, you know where to bring them to their weaknesses and stuff. So you generally see like the highest scores in game 1 anyway. So I like back in the over here.
Son of a bitch. Ryan Smith, who has been on all of our Buckets lives, who said from the first, it was either first or second round, because we started doing the lives in second round, said Pacers to win the East, Panthers plus 2,000 to win the NHL conference.
Wow.
Congratulations, Ryan. Phenomenal job.
Well done.
Phenomenal job.
Always love when we can marry 2 sports like that, you know?
April 28th, he says, is when he got it in April. Unbelievable. I will have to note Branderson would be in would like chirp in my ear. It's not 50-1. So shout out to Brandon for 50-1 on Anthony Edwards.
I want to know what's next, Ryan. Let's get the next play in here. Come on.
What else we got going on? Okay. That's going to do it. We will have lots more on the NBA Finals this week on Buckets. Make sure to like and subscribe on YouTube. Turn on notifications so you know when we're getting this. You can download. We're also in the Action Network app when we go live. We will have pre-game shows. We'll have post-game shows. We will have special shows. We'll have lots of written content. Lots of stuff for you to consume. You can catch Michael Fiddle at Fiddle's Picks. You can catch Brandon Kravitz at BK Picks in the Action Network app and at Brandon Kravitz on Twitter. Thanks for joining us. Great night. Fun night. We'll see you guys again next time. Until then, get buckets.
And happy birthday again. Okay.
Pacers gave me the only gift I wanted.
That's it.